Hey everybody, welcome to the Matt and Mark Bout Music podcast here on bandadvice.tv. I hope everyone's doing well today. I am your co-host, Mark Allen V, and this is...
Matt and Mason. How y'all doing out there, Earth Rockers? What's up?
Matt Mason in the house here at Studio V.
Yeah, right on.
Oh, man, can you believe that we've been doing this for almost a year? We started recording these podcasts... It was Christmas break last year. I think it was between Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah.
And
we haven't had the sense to quit yet.
No, we still get our 2 or 3 views a month, and we're having a good time with it. But yeah, you know, we had lofty goals at the beginning of 2019 to have one a week, and we've come up with about 2 a month on average. So that's not too bad. Not too bad. You know, life gets in the way, transportation issues.
Man.
All kinds of shit.
Well, and the good thing is, though, you got to keep in mind like this. Anybody can hit a mud hole.
Right.
You got to have something to shoot at.
Sure.
And even if you miss, even if you fall short, still, you've shot at something higher than what maybe you would have been doing if you didn't think about it in that way. So I feel pretty good about it. We've talked about a lot of stuff.
We have.
We've covered a lot of topics. We've shared a bunch of knowledge with people from all over the world who... As of this time last year, they'd never heard of you or I or Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Exactly.
I mean, and that's just really cool.
I don't know if they want to, but they just...
Hey, you know, it's a voyeuristic society
nowadays.
That is true. People just love to watch other people do anything.
Right. And I tell you what, I am even impressed myself with our tenacity and keeping up with it. You know, it's like, you know, we did those first handful of episodes, and it's just like, well, we're going to keep doing it. And it's like, well, as long as we're having fun, and... Never cease to have fun when I'm hanging with you, man.
Yeah, right. Well, and you know, the thing is, it's like I'm kind of a big fan of fun.
Fun's a good thing. I enjoy fun.
Anytime something's
fun, top of my list.
It makes it easy to do, you know.
Sure.
And I think we've had a great bunch of episodes that we've put together just talking about stuff that's interesting. It's not, you know, it's got to be interesting to other people, and I think it is, you know.
I can't see why it wouldn't be. I mean, it's about music and being a musician.
One of the greatest things in the world.
It's the American dream.
Yeah.
America.
You know, and last year we decided that we really needed to put out a bunch of content, so we got this little opportunity that came up to kind of spin off what we've already been doing.
Oh, you ready to make that big announcement?
Yeah.
This is exciting.
Into another dimension of what we're doing. So listen up what we got going.
Earth Rockers.
We Are Tulsa Music is enlisted us to help them do some podcasts, kind of focusing specifically on scribes, bards, and balladeers.
Yes, that's what we're calling it. So if you didn't get what that means, it's about the singer-songwriters, you know, and around here we got a lot of them, and we're going to touch a little bit on the kind of red dirt and the music scene that kind of sprouted out of the northeast Oklahoma area, Stillwater and Tulsa and places beyond.
Dewey,
Shakota. Don't forget Shoto.
Foil,
yes.
Yeah, you know, there's all sounds there.
And then, of course... in the great metropolitan of Bixby.
Yeah, right. So we're lining up some guests for 2020 to bring them in here and kind of like show you what they're about and talk to them a little bit.
Hear some of their music.
Yeah.
Hear how they wrote the songs, you know.
Yeah, the backstories behind the songs.
Yeah.
You know, just kind of let them tell you what they're about.
Yep.
And so we've already today we've worked on an episode, of course, featuring my friend Mark here, as well as myself.
Yep.
And then, there's a short list of folks we want to try to, coordinate and get them in here at some point in 2020 and try to, it's going to be a great thing to, I can just think of the ones that I'm thinking of. They're going to have this to be able to use it as promo,
Absolutely, yeah. We're going to get a nice recording here, just the guitar and the vocals, and when they're done with it, we'll send them off a nice mix down of their tracks themselves, and then, of course, you'll be able to download the podcast on the We Are Tulsa Music podcast. I think we're going to have about an episode or 2 a month on that. And then shortly after that goes live, then you'll be able to see the video of us doing it on the bandadvice.tv site.
So write your phone number down on a $50 bill and send it to this address down here at the bottom screen, and we'll put you in the hopper to get you on the show.
And I used to say that all the time when people come up request songs. It's like the best way to request a song is to write it down in a denomination of American currency And the larger the denomination, the better chance that I will play that song.
You know?
And I actually had somebody write down a song on a dollar bill. It's like, okay, that's kind of illegal because you're defacing U.S. currency, but I'm not going to tell.
Yeah, right.
I'm sure whoever got that dollar bill at whatever bank or Quick Trip was kind of wondering why it said play Freebird. But
yeah, right on. Right on.
Oh man, so yes, I'm looking forward to 2020, and you got something coming up in 2020 as well. Some sort of a nomination or something?
Yeah, man, I'm pretty excited to hear that this is the third year of the We Are Tulsa Music Awards, and so I've just heard that I've been nominated in 2 categories. The first one is Heartland Artist of the Year.
Nice.
The second one is Solo Acoustic Artist of the Year.
Nice.
And so, I wanted to make this as an organic experience as I could. When I found out they were doing it again this year, I was like, I'm not going to try to like rail on people to nominate me and all this. I'm just going to see how it goes, see what happens. And so you had to get like 5 people nominate you to be in a category. So that means that if you got 3 nominations, you didn't make the ballot.
Okay.
If you got 5 or more nominations, then you're on the ballot. Now, the list of people in all the categories is just amazing. And you see all these names sidled up together, and some, and some you don't know. But, man, it's just amazing how many bands, artists, talented folks there are around here, And a lot of them, it's just hard to rise above the din. There's so much of it, The average person can only really digest some of it.
Right.
So I'm excited about this podcast because we're going to, get some of these folks in here and talk to them in a different environment and, just kind of see what they're about and share it with you people all over the world.
Yes, it's going to be fun.
I'm really looking forward to it.
You putting out any new music next year?
Man, what I think I'm going to do is this. I've got this special little surprise that I'm going to roll out probably like around Christmas, day after Christmas.
Okay.
I'm going to put this thing together, and you'll be able to see all about it on my website. And then, like, in 2020, I thought, I didn't do that good a job promoting Be the Wolf, the Live at Kane's Ballroom deal I put out, earlier this year. And it wasn't for lack of trying. It's just, shit happens, man.
Sure.
And it doesn't happen, and there you are. And so what I'm going to do is, like, when I was in the record business online, I used to bring in, stuff from Europe and Japan. A lot of those artists, would do special singles for different countries and different regions. So, say, for instance, here's a new, single, but in Germany, it's going to come out as a 5-track EP.
Okay.
And so it's going to have the version that everyone hears on the radio. Then it's going to have a live version. Then it's going to have a cover tune of some kind on it. Then there might be an interview on it or something. And it's, we're going to print this once. Once these sell out, that's it. And so, man, those things, it's just for collectors are really cool. I loved it.
You're sending this off to Germany?
Well, no, what I'm going to do is kind of try to use that as an idea.
Oh, that model.
So kind of break up like some of the songs off of Be the Wolf, break those off into like, okay, here's going to be the, Get Out of the City single.
Okay.
And so it'll have Get Out of the City. It'll have this cover of She by Graham Parsons, both of which feature one of Tulsa's favorite sons, Mr. Jesse Aycock, on vocals and steel guitar and lap steel guitar.
Nice.
And then I've yet to decide, what other tracks, but I've got a lot of stuff. And, I've released a lot of stuff this year. I've put out a lot of videos. I've done a lot of things, but the idea is keep going.
Right.
Keep doing it. Keep putting momentum out there. So splitting it up into little singles that are like, gives you something to talk about. It gives you some stuff that hasn't been out there. And, hey, if you want to download these 3 songs for 99 cents from our website, go check it out.
Cool.
And, just something like that. Then I really think I need to get back in there. And, I was looking the other day, I've got like 3 potential projects that have material that are it's ready to go. It's ready to start recording. And so, I'm just trying to get some of these transportation issues worked out and, figure out a way of coming up with the means to get it out there to the world, in whatever way I can do it.
Great. So where do you do your recording? Do you do it at your place, or do you
Well,
go to the studio?
since when my friend Les, he recorded and engineered the second album.
Mm-hmm.
And then, he recorded the live album, Hurricane Mason 5 Alive. And so, when he passed in 15 or 14, that was a big downer because,
Sure.
I could call him up and say, hey, I'm going to be on the radio in Texas, record this and put it on the Reverb Nation page or whatever it was. And I mean, stuff like that would take me, 2 weeks, and I still couldn't get it done. But he was really great at helping me out on a lot of stuff like that. And then, the stuff on Be the Wolf, we did all that, of course, live at Kane's Ballroom, but also the other half of it, we did it all at Ace's place in Broken Arrow. Well, when he died in 16, that really threw a wrench into it. And so I've just been trying to get like a different kind of workflow and, working with other people kind of thing happening.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of my other friends that plays a band called Follow the Buzzards, he lives out there near me. And so he's got a pretty good little setup. And he's been helping me on some things. And, I think maybe it might be time to just get out the little old 4-track and just record, 10 songs that are just me and the acoustic guitar live on the floor,
Yeah.
Because I just feel real strong about continuing getting content out there, getting more out there,
Sure.
getting more out there that, continues to help define yourself as an artist and what you're about and what you want to be about,
We have a whole generation of people that won't know what a 4-track is.
That's true.
Won't understand the concept of ping-ponging tracks and how you can turn 4 tracks into 7. Whoa! Yeah. And then if you're really talented, you can actually overdub during the mixdown. Mm-hmm. It's like snap.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, now you can go buy yourself a little 2-channel Focusrite or something like that. Or I use a Tascam, a 4-channel Tascam. You get those things. I think the Tascam thing was about $200. So those 2-channel ones, you can get them. Sometimes pick them up used for under $100.
Yeah, I mean, Tracy gave me one of those. It's a little Tascam. Ours is a Yamaha, but it just records on one of those little chips.
Okay.
And so, I mean, the quality's really good, and it's like, I mean, man, just the quality. Everybody's listening to it on a phone speaker.
That's true.
And so, I mean, if I had lots of money and lots of time and lots of help, maybe I would try to do it differently. But, doing a 4-track recording in a digital realm nowadays is very believable and possible.
Yeah.
So,
well, you're welcome to come over here anytime, and we'll wire you up. And
I was just thinking about that on the way down here. It's like, man, we should try some stuff over at Mark's too. That'd be cool. Or maybe I could just do some of the stuff at home on the 4-track, then bring that over, and we can fly it into your computer thing. Because I'm about out of space on my hard drives at home, and it's just And after all those years of Ace and Les, running the technical part of it, it's the learning curve. It's just been really overwhelming,
It is.
And then when you realize, okay, well, really what I need to do is invest a few $1,000s I just go pick it off a tree in the backyard, and so.
Well, I mean, you're welcome to do it. I think next time you come over, it'll come at a price of a bottle of oil fire.
Oh, yeah. That's good stuff,
That's good stuff. I'll be more than happy to take payment of one of the sessions for that.
Yeah.
So. Well, that's cool. Well, you and I talked about what I've been up to. I'm doing recording. I'm doing a marathon 2-week recording sessions.
That's great, man. I'm glad to hear you're doing it.
I took a bunch of time off over the holidays here, and my plan is to be up here at least 1 hour every day. I figure what I can do is come up and I want to lay down at least a guitar track or 2 every day for the next 2 weeks, and then spend the evenings doing editing and mixing and things like that. And I got a lot done yesterday. I laid down the guitar track on 4 different songs and did the vocals on 2, and that was just between noon and 6 o'clock.
Nice.
So, yeah. So it's been very productive so far. And even today, before you came over, I laid out the guitar parts, the acoustic guitar parts on a 5th song. So
awesome.
Yeah. So hopefully January, I will start releasing some stuff.
So just dole it out like once a month or once every few months, whatever.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. So I mean, just my creative juices are really flowing. I am writing a lot, and My songwriting tool, I used to have one of those little mini tape recorders. Now it's all on my phone here. Just do it on the voice memos.
That's so cool.
And it backs up to the cloud.
Love it.
I'm sure the Russians are hacking it and they're gonna steal my songs. But now,
Hey, if you walk into a discotheque and the Soviet Union and you hear a remix of one of your tunes, all right,
exactly,
cool.
Yep, I've been to a Russian discotheque before. It's an interesting experience. Anyway, that's a story for another day. So 2020. Can't believe we are just a couple weeks away. Less than a couple weeks away.
And despite what you may have been read and fed, this is the start of a new decade. 2020 is the start of a new decade. The 60s went from 1960 to 1969. The 70s went from 1970 to 1979.
Okay.
This goes from 2020 to 29, right?
But there was no year zero. So it always starts with one.
I don't know, man. When you talk about the 70s, you'd have to include 1970.
Well, I agree. Yes, but the actual decade, it's semantics, really, honestly. But I was always told that there was no year one.
Yeah.
So, there was a year one. There's no year zero.
It'd be good something for people to fight about on Facebook.
Oh, true. Yeah, along with the moon landing never happened. Which, by the way, when John F. Kennedy says by the end of this decade we will send a man on the moon, he used the word decade, so that they bought himself an extra year. They can go into 1970 if necessary. Got it done by in the 60s, but he did give him up that extra year because they could have used that semantics. So
I found a recording of all that on an LP.
Wow.
Yeah, and so it's just like so trippy because Walter Cronkite's narrating it and everything. It's so cool.
Yeah,
it's a real hit at parties.
It's awesome. One small step for a man.
When I saw Sleep, man, the lights go down and they're playing like it sounded like it was talk between ground control and the astronauts or something. And then they come out, and it's just like, man, that was so cool. Yeah. People are like, what is this? What the hell's going on here? And it just took everybody by surprise. So
nice.
It was so neat.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting stuff. But yeah, I'm sure it'll all be debated on the internet somehow.
Yeah, of course. Oh yeah, there's any kind of person out there in the world, you can find them out there on the internet.
You know how I could prove that the moon landing happened and it wasn't on a sound stage?
How's that?
Look at the shadows; they're all parallel. If it came from a spotlight, the light fans out just like sound does. Mm-hmm. So the shadows would all be kind of disheveled if it was a huge spotlight. I know some people say, well, it's they had a whole wall of lights. Not in 1969, they didn't. Yeah. It would have been.
I was reading something about that the other day too. About how they were pointing out certain things that you could tell. This is why this isn't, wasn't real and all this, but. It's fun to read.
It is.
I mean, I don't know. It's fun to read.
These theories, too, like the flat earthers. I'm like, they need to do a reality show on an expedition to find the edge of the earth if it's flat. That thing could go on for years.
Yeah, it was kind of the same kind of stuff. They were talking about that, too. 2020 is going to be a crazy year, man. It's going
to be crazy. Well, you got I'm thinking if I get this music out here, I may just try to go head-to-head with you on the best acoustic artist in town.
Oh, yeah.
I might get out there and gig again. I'm kind of itching a little bit, It's especially now I'm getting some original music going. So
yeah. Well, there's plenty of places to play, It just takes a lot of organization to keep on top of it,
right.
Because it's just like you're not going to call somebody up and get them on the phone and they're going to say yes.
Right.
You're going to have to go through all this, the usual of like, I feel like I'm hunting a different kind of animal every time you go after something that you want to do. It's like, well, all right, what is this person like? Are they tech savvy? Do they text? Do they do email? Do they answer how do they work?
Are they going to want to swipe left on you?
Yeah. When are they, when are they here?
Right.
When do they make these big decisions? Oh, they
sure.
booked the whole year by January 31st. Here it is, February 20th. I'm out of luck till next year. So you just figure all that stuff out.
Right.
And, you just try to make some sense out of just being patient and persistent and polite. And I mean, there's plenty of places to play,
So when you let's talk a little bit about achieving those gigs or getting those gigs, landing those gigs. So where do you start? You got a new venue, you want to get in there.
Mm-hmm.
You just walk in one day and
Well, like a lot of stuff I've heard before is like, figure out where you want to go and then get somebody who's there to tell you how to get there.
Okay.
So that involves like, a phone call to the nature, maybe something like, hey, I see you're having live music. Your place looks cool. I was in there last week, whatever the story is, and say, hey, I'd really like to talk to you about playing,
Mm-hmm.
Could you put me in touch with the person that, and I always, refer to him as a booking agent.
Right.
Whether, some places, they don't have a booking agent, but I always like to address it as that live music booking agent so that they can kind of get the picture that, who
It's
can
a
I
more
contact?
professional way. So
Yeah, like who can I contact and, who is it? How can I reach out to them?
Right.
And so you start there, and then you just got to kind of just keep being persistent and patient. It's like some of these people tell me they get, hundreds of inquiries every week.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're running a place that has live music, 3 or 4 nights a week, okay, there's, 150 dates a year that you can fill. Well, if you get 50 inquiries every week, there's no way in the world you're going to be able to get all those people a gig.
Right.
And so a lot of them, talking to them, they kind of weed through it in one way or another. Some they'll flat out tell you, do not call here. Do not call here. Just email them. That's how they deal with it.
Okay.
That is cool because you can do it at any hour, day or night, you know, and they respond, they answer, and it's like, oh, this is so easy. Those days of chasing people on the phone and all that are just completely behind us.
You finally get a hold of them, they can't hear you because of the band that's playing.
Exactly.
Oh, man. I
Exactly.
those calls.
Yeah.
So do you make a database of all the different venues and what the best way of getting a hold of them? And
Yeah, I use like an Excel spreadsheet,
Okay.
and so I put in, where it is and what's the address and what's the contact info's address and what their phone, any pertinent information you can know. It's like, maybe even little notes about, hey, I met this girl at a concert who works at this place, and she told me that the manager is there and here and blah blah blah. You just you're just like, it's like you're following a trail of breadcrumbs. It's really like what it is.
Yeah,
because there's really no level of business like that around like here. There's not like a booking agent at every club or an entertainment director at every club. Right. It's like you kind of have to figure out your way around through this, and it takes a little bit to, stay on top of it and keep organized. But I just tell you, patience, persistent, and polite. That's the easiest way to think about it. And knowing that no matter how good you are and how good you think you are, you're some reason not going to work in every place.
What?
I'm totally fine with that realization. And so you got to understand that not everybody feels as strong about your craft as you do, and that's fine. That's okay. That's,
sure.
That's cool.
But if you can find a couple that you go well with, you want to hang on to that.
Yeah, man, you want to play to your crowd. This old biker guy that owned this place, I played at probably 35 times one year. He used to tell me, Mason, play to your crowd. And I'm like, well, John, there's 4 people here: the bartender, my 2 friends that are always here, and the girlfriends. And it's just like, we are playing to our crowd.
Well, what was that one time we played at Cowboy Sharkies, I think, over there off 61st?
Oh, yeah.
And we're playing our stuff, which, we're a little bit older than the typical gigging punks at the time. And so we were playing stuff that was more from our generation. And the guy wasn't even the bartender. He's like the bar back or the bus boy. He goes, I don't want to tell you guys how to do your job, but could you try to play something a little bit newer?
Yeah.
The people here, they want to hear something newer. And I'm looking around. It's like, yeah, same thing. There's 4 people, and we brought in 3 of them.
Yeah,
so
right.
I am playing to the crowd. So it's you that don't want to hear it. So.
Well, man, what I realized,
you got to be polite and
exactly. It's like, those kind of situations. I think what did I tell him? I was like, what do you do here? Oh, you're a bartender. Why don't you stick to mixing drinks? I'll stick to playing the music.
That may have stepped outside of the realm of polite.
I don't.
Well,
think
you didn't use any. You didn't use any.
I didn't attack the guy or go after him or nothing. But I'm just like, how can you sit here and tell me what to do?
No, absolutely, I get
How can you sit there and tell me how to do my job?
I agree
when,
with you.
it's like, I'm not, our whole thing was not to be like every other person that they have in there all the
Right.
time.
Right.
It's like, oh, well, everybody else this, everybody else that. Well, guess what? So what?
Yeah.
I got an idea what I'm doing here, and I don't need somebody to tell me what they think I need to play. That's bull.
It's like somebody hired us because of the type of music that we play. So I don't know what that guy was thinking.
Yeah.
Anyway, he was probably just ticked off. One of the girls probably said no to him.
Well,
who knows? But
it's a struggle running any kind of club or
Sure.
live music thing, and anybody that's willing to do it, hats off to them, because it is tough.
Right.
It is real tough. But after years of doing this, you kind of learn the game a little bit, and you kind of understand really how it should be because you've experienced it a few times. And then, it's kind of like, when you're 25, could you have told you anything when you're 25? They couldn't have told me anything when I was 25.
They can't tell me that now, and I'm not 25 anymore.
Yeah, I'm 27.
And almost twice that.
And they haven't.
And it still hasn't sunk in.
Yeah, right. Nobody could have told me anything when I was 25.
So have you ever dealt with the big talent agencies, especially the one out of Oklahoma City that gets the big frat gigs?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I've been round and round with them so many times. It's not even funny.
So it hasn't been a positive experience for you.
No.
So you just much rather save that 15-20% that you would pay out and do the hard work.
I mean,
yourself.
if there was somebody in this state that was capable of doing it better than I would have done, then I would be interested. But I've been through every single one of them that ever says they're a booking agent, and they want to give me all these excuses and everything else. It's like, listen, here's what I'm doing. Now, if you want to make money, you can put me to work. I have a track record that's decades long.
Right.
I don't care if you don't like my music. But right here is proof that my music will sell someplace.
Right.
And so getting them to understand that has just been always impossible.
Right.
Because
well, I think they're looking for the band that can bring in $2,000 at a frat gig, and that's not your style. So, I can see why they wouldn't.
And
but
a lot
still,
of
money's money. It's like $200, $2,000. I mean, it's still money, and if it's worth your phone call to make it happen, right?
Well,
that's not
they told me one time that that we wouldn't work in the places that they booked, and I was like, well, that's just totally untrue, because here's a place we've played. There's 3 places that we had played for 2 to 3 years, and betwixt and between our dates there was dates from this booking agent in Oklahoma City. I'm like, that's just plainly not true. And so I've been playing these places that you guys have 2 or 3 out of the 4 weekends of your bands. We've been playing there for 2 or 3 years, so that doesn't hold any water. And,
right.
It's like, I just think that there's a certain opinion of certain people that they think, oh, well, this does sell and this doesn't sell, and I'm just here to tell them that, like, there's more than one way to skin a cat. There's more than one way of doing it, and you just gotta align yourself with whatever musical goals, whatever things you want to do. Try to make little steps each day towards that, and sometimes it's not easy, because it's not a charted course. It's not like a territory that everybody's familiar with. When you go through business college and they'll teach all this stuff, well, that doesn't apply in the business of music.
Yeah, you're right, though. They don't teach that kind of stuff in business school, although there are a lot of things in business school that you can learn about. But it's the sales aspect, because basically when you're a musician, you're a salesperson. I think being a salesperson, it varies from industry to industry and how things are done, and even the techniques that you use within an industry, I think, vary as well. So
absolutely, and it's the hardest thing is you're selling yourself,
right?
And you're obviously you're tied up in yourself a little bit more than you would be selling a tire. So it's it's hard to manage the rejection,
right?
And what you realize is, okay, there's a few things that I keep in the forefront of my mind all the time. It's like, okay, no answer is kind of an answer. Okay?
Yeah.
So when you get right down to it, no answer is kind of an answer.
And if you keep bugging them, they're going to give you an answer that you don't want.
Well, patience and persistence and politeness, that's where that comes in. It's just like, hey, you don't like my music, you don't like me, tell me why. What can I do to make it better?
Sure.
And then, whatever they say, then you can kind of take that with the context of which they say it, and kind of use that to improve your show.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to think that, I've mastered this in my bedroom for however long and now it's perfect and whatever. Take some criticism.
Mm-hmm.
The people that take some criticism will grow. The ones that don't, they won't grow.
Fair enough. It's good advice. So let's say if you had your top 3 or 4 different opinions, bits of advice to offer up on how to manage your bookings.
Well, I'd stay organized.
Okay.
That's a big one. Be proactive. Don't decide you're going to try to play gigs next week, because it ain't going to happen.
Okay.
Any place that's any good is going to have plenty big enough line months away. You're just not going to be, normally you're not going to be able to get in somewhere immediately.
Okay.
Even before, if they've printed it out of schedule, you're already months behind. Okay. So you got to think forward. It's hard to imagine. It's hard to think 4 or 6 or 8 or 9 months ahead of time. Where am I going to be on November 23rd, 2020? Well, this place is offering me some dates around there, so I guess I'm going to be there if I decide to take this date. That's like nearly a year away,
Right.
And so trying to just think of it in forward terms rather than right now or next week,
Okay.
Know yourself and your product. Be able to articulate what you're doing. Have not only, a demo on YouTube,
right,
but other things that they can use to kind of quickly get to know you as an artist. If they're having to go over 50 press kits every week or every day, you got to make this easy as you can for the person who's doing this. They will appreciate it, and in turn, you will get a better chance of getting a gig. And, it's hard when you get into it, because you just don't know, well, how do they get all these gigs, and
right.
There's a variety of ways of getting all these gigs, and I've just kind of talked about a few just basic things that to keep in mind. It's like, you got to just be able to sell yourself, stay organized, be polite, and be professional, and try to do the best you can and deliver what you say you're going to deliver,
And they're not going to come after you.
No, very rarely.
That's the thing that I realized early on, because you had this preconceived notion. I'll mail the stuff out and they'll call me up. They'll send them the demo and they will, oh yeah, we want to get you in this week or whatever. There's only one time I've ever gotten a call, and it's when we made those flyers, and we got it from the Tulsa Brewing Company. And it's just because they were having a showcase of all the bands that wanted to play there. So, but yeah. So, all right, well that's a good talk. Good talk. 2020. The new decade.
I'm ready for it, man.
It's got great stuff. I mean, you're starting off and you got all your digits still functioning this year. So
that's a good one.
It's a good start with.
That's a great one.
And hopefully Santa Claus will bring you some cool stuff this year.
I hope so.
All right. Well, that's again about it for today. So until next time, this is the Matt and Mark About Music podcast. I am your co-host Mark Allen D.
And I'm Matt Mason.
All right. Peace.